So welcome to the episode 6 of the Brilliant Businesses podcast. I'm here today with Neil Simmons from TM Recruits. Neil's business is a recruitment business that recruits office-based staff within the TM postcode, which includes Tunbridge Wells, Tunbridge and Sevenoaks, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. And the surrounding towns and villages, so Crowborough, Uckfield, Paddock Wood,
right,
Edenbridge, Westram. So it's a vast area.
Yeah. And so we've already interviewed Neil, and we featured his story on the Brilliant Businesses website. It's got a really cool story, and we're going to hear it again today on the podcast. So tell us how it started, Neil. Tell us your journey, how it all began.
Well, yeah. So my entire career has been quite colourful, really. I coached football and gymnastics when I left college, and I did that for a couple of years, and it was great fun. But I knew it was only going to take me so far. And actually, at that time, a lot of my friends were going away and doing ski seasons and working abroad and going travelling, going off to uni, and I just fancied doing something a little bit different. And I saw this television program all about the people who worked at Haven Holidays called Haven Mates. Yeah. So I applied to Haven and I didn't get a response. I applied to Butlins doing a similar sort of jobs as a Butlins red coat, and they said thanks but no thanks. And then I got an interview with Pontins. So I became a Bluecoat for Pontins, which is where I met my now wife. We then realised, so we did a full season in North Wales in Prestatyn. 18 Bluecoats. So it was a real good sociable environment. You couldn't really call it a job. It was more a way of life. You know, we would be on duty from 9 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon, and then again from 7 till 12 in the same day. And we do that 6 days a week. So it was tough. It was real hard work, physically demanding, but as I say, great fun. We had a ball doing that, and we've got lifelong friends that we still see regularly. But we realised after that season that we could do exactly the same sort of job but overseas. So we joined the likes of Air Tours and worked overseas for 5 years. We worked all around the Balearic Islands, so Mallorca, Minorca. We also did mainland Spain and Cyprus. And again, tons of fun. We kind of got as far as we possibly could from an entertainment perspective. We were managing big teams of people, and we kind of took it just about as far as we could as a couple who are now thinking maybe it's time to settle down, maybe it's time to get a proper job, and that's what we decided to do. We moved back to the UK, didn't know where we wanted to live or didn't know where we could live. We looked at different areas. Where I was from originally in northwest London, which was quite expensive, really. And then we settled on Tunbridge Wells, and it was a brilliant choice. Tunbridge Wells has been a fantastic place to live. But moving to Tunbridge Wells, I really didn't know what I wanted to do, and I went into a recruitment agency, and they said, "Oh, you've worked in the leisure industry. That means you can sell advertising to the leisure industry." So I thought, "Oh, that's brilliant! Yeah, inspirational stuff." They saw the potential, they saw the transferable skills with me, and I guess deep down that probably stuck with me, that creative mindset of looking at what I'd done in the past and putting me into a role that was kind of an early marker, if you like, towards my recruitment career. So I sold advertising for the Courier newspaper for 3 years, and again it was a brilliant way of finding my way around Tunbridge Wells area and the surrounding areas, but also making friends locally. And the Courier was a brilliant environment, very sociable again, but also I guess it was my first proper official role in sales. And I sold advertising indeed to the leisure industry, restaurants, pubs, nightclubs, leisure centres, and anything at all that could be related to leisure. And I formed some good relationships along the way. And I worked for the Courier for 3 years, and I had 3 brilliant years there, and they were very good to me as an organisation. But I just realised that I wanted something a little bit more, and I felt that there was always a tiny bit of a ceiling for me at that time. my management, the managers at the courier who I worked for, were very good and weren't going anywhere. So there wasn't really anywhere to progress to. And then I think it was actually my wife suggested, how about recruitment? And once I looked into it, investigated it a little bit more, it really was something that appealed. So I interviewed with lots of companies and finally got my break. After working in recruitment for 8 years, decided to launch and go out on my own. And one of the things that sort of encouraged me or made me make that decision was that my dad passed away in 2014, and he was only 66 at the time. So I think I was 38. I calculated the years. I had 28 years based on his experience. Probably a bit of a morbid thing to do, but I just felt that maybe I needed to challenge myself and do something a little bit more. And that was when I set out on my own. So TN Recruits was born, and I had lots of ideas of scalability in the long term. I deliberately called it TN Recruits, based upon the TN postcode, as we mentioned earlier. The TN postcode was a good area. All the areas that we mentioned earlier. There are lots of businesses. And I remember a client many years ago telling me that there were 26,000 businesses in the TN postcode. That was a long time ago, so there's probably more than that now. So it always sort of stuck with me that it could be a good angle. And I called it TN Recruits rather than TN Recruitment. When we're talking about scalability, I always felt that there was an option to maybe go into some specialist areas. And then with the postcode as well, there was always another opportunity, scalability-wise, to look at other postcodes. So, all of those things have kind of rung true as we've developed as a company. We launched ME Recruits a couple of years ago, and that's headed up by Helen Barham, who was actually my first manager when I was at the Courier. She came and applied for a job with me, and I was flattered, and I'm still honoured to have her as part of the team. She heads up ME Recruits and does a fantastic job. With TM Recruits now, we've got several members of staff headed up by Ellie Snuggs. Ellie does a great job of running the team as branch manager. We've got my longest serving member of staff, Jared Monkman, who is a very good recruiter. Has been very consistent, has been with me now just under 5 years. It might even be on the verge of his 5th year anniversary. We've then got Melissa. We've got Alfie, who supports the team, and in administration, Kate and Gemma. And the team have been fantastic. And then we've launched 2 specialist areas over the last few months. Just prior to Christmas, in October, November, we came up with the idea. I'd taken on Emma Moss, who Emma's background had always been in media, same as mine, and we got on very well from her first interview, and she's shown real passion and real drive, not just for recruitment, but actually one of her first placements that she made was she placed a solicitor, and she always had a natural interest in law. So it just made sense that initial idea of having specialist sectors in the scalability was now able to come to life. With Emma at the helm, we were able to launch TM Recruits Law. And Emma's done brilliantly with that, apart from the last few weeks, which the whole recruitment market has been hit. But Emma has done very well. She's placed some solicitors, she's placed quite a few legal secretaries, and with that legal sector, it's something that is going to be fantastic, particularly in the longer term. And then at the very turn of the year, we launched our 2nd specialist division in TN Recruits Accounts. So we recruit accountancy practice candidates. and that's headed up by Rachel Fisher. It's interesting, with a number of my staff, I've got various links to them from way back when, and it's headed up by Rachel Fisher. Rachel was a candidate of mine who I placed about 13 or 14 years ago in a sales role. After that, she went into recruitment, and when she wanted to work a little bit more locally, she was actually commuting over to Maidstone from Wadhurst, which is quite a journey. When she wanted to work more locally, she actually approached me to see what we had. So it gave us the opportunity then to look at Rachel's skills, to look at what she could offer. And accountancy practices has always been an area that we've kind of had the opportunity, but haven't maybe concentrated or been able to drill down and resource the candidates in that area, because we have lots of other sectors to look after. But having one person solely dedicated to that, I knew was going to be a benefit. But it was about finding the right person, and that's what we've got on Rachel.
It's interesting you talking about and your staff, because right now it must be very difficult it's difficult for everyone, but very difficult for your staff. So how do you, obviously you keep in touch with them, and how do you keep their morale up at the moment? How do you deal with that? How's it affected them?
Yeah, so it's been a tough period, and I think that what I've got in my favour is that they're all very loyal. They know that there's nothing personal in the actions that we've had to take, and we have had to furlough a vast majority of our staff, which was a tough decision to make. But they know that it's not personal. They know that it's a short-term fix to make us stronger in the long term. And therefore, they were happy to support the decisions which we were forced to make. But in terms of keeping up morale, I stay in touch with them all on a personal basis. I'll make sure that I touch base and have a conversation with all of them once a week. We also have team meetings. They're not allowed to do any sales-based activities or anything that's going to lead towards money making, but they can attend team meetings. So we have a team meeting once a week. And then from a social perspective, we do meet for a Friday on Zoom. When I say meet, we're meeting on Zoom.
Yeah.
But we meet for a drink on a Friday, which is good fun. And Friday just gone, Ellie organised a quiz night for us all, which was great fun. And they were absolutely thrilled that I won. They weren't.
Of course they were.
But yeah, so keeping morale going is tough, and I think that at the beginning we talked about the fact that we're all going to have low moments at some point or another, myself included in that. But it's actually being there for each other and helping each other out and making sure that we're communicating, and hopefully, again, everyone's going to be on side with the fact that this is a short-term fix to ensure that we're strong in the long term.
Yeah, no, I think it's really important, isn't it? And it's sort of, from what I saw of your business and hearing you talk at other meetings that we go to, it sounded like before all this kicked in, business was going really, really well, and your business was growing quite nicely. Is that the case before we got into the coronavirus? Business was good?
Yeah, we had a cracking start to the year. January we had a good January, a very strong January. February wasn't amazing, but it was okay. And March was very good. And what was pleasing about March is that every one of my staff contributed significantly to the placements that we made, the people that we helped into jobs, and it was really pleasing. There was a lot of success, a lot of good achievements. So the team were doing very, very well, and then we walked slap bang into the middle of what has just been the most bizarre situation that anyone can imagine. And whenever I talk about it as well, I'm desperately trying to avoid what everyone else is saying, the cliches that you hear, but it's impossible, because so much has been said about it. But from a recruitment perspective, I recruited through the last recession and I still did okay. You know, I still managed to put some respectable figures on the board, and still managed to help some companies find the right members of staff, and still managed to help candidates get a job. But this is completely different. You know, this was literally the recruitment market being switched off overnight. We've reduced our vacancies by over 95%. You know, so it's a significant drop in what's available.
How do you feel it's going to affect you long term?
Well, you know, everything that I've ever done, I've always had a long-term frame of mind, and that's been massively important to me. With, you know, the candidates that I've dealt with, I'll always respect them and do my best for them, because one day they'll become my clients. The candidates of today are our clients of tomorrow. And likewise, everything else that I've done when I've worked with clients, I've always wanted to do the very best job that I can possibly do. And that's what we're doing at the moment. You know, we've tried to stay in touch with our clients, trying to make sure that we're showing a good understanding for their businesses, and just being there to talk to them, to listen to them. And the same goes with our candidates. We're having lots and lots of candidate conversations at the moment, and most of those conversations are just to try to keep them motivated, keep them positive, and actually make them realize that it's not them, it's the market. You know, we've got some fantastic candidates who aren't able to work or are struggling to find work, but actually it's not them, it is the marketplace. And hopefully giving them, having the conversations that we're having will give us the long-term loyalty and the commitment that will help us in the long term. But by way of the recruitment market, I guess, you know, I can't predict anything. I can't predict anything for sure, but in my opinion, I think it will give us a real big shake-up. You know, in recruitment, we refer to the market being candidate-driven or client-driven. We've been in a really good, strong recruitment market for a number of years that's been very much driven by the candidates. So it's been a candidate-driven market. And by that, there's been lots of vacancies. You know, we've seen record high amounts of vacancies. We've seen record lows where unemployment is concerned, and record highs where numbers of people employed have been concerned. And it's been, I guess, an easy market in some respects for a lot of recruiters. But now we're going to see the tables turned on that. You know, it is going to be a client-driven market. It is going to be fewer vacancies around, and probably, sadly, a lot more candidates who have maybe been made redundant, or who may be looking. So we will see a big shift. It will be interesting to see what happens from here, but there'll be certain sectors that are affected a lot more than others, and we'll just have to see how things pan out. But hopefully the work that we've put in and the work that we're continuing to put in at the moment will stand us in good stead long term.
Yeah, it's difficult to make plans as well, isn't it, for long term? I guess, you know, a lot of businesses right now are having a lot of time to think and having a lot of time to plan, and probably getting very fired up because they want to crack on and they want to get on with things, but they can't. So I think right now is a good time for business owners to start thinking about plans. But how do you see that? How do you see your long plans after this? What's going to be next for TM Recruits?
Yeah, again, I think because we've had a good number of years, you know, since the financial crisis, it's been a long time, and we've had, you know, the recruiters that I speak to are very grateful for all the good years that we've had, and now we've just got to weather the storm. And you know, through I like to think of management of the business and the finances, it means that we've got that cushion to be able to help us through what will be a lean period, and we'll come out stronger the other side. The plans that we can now put in place is that we're tightening up the processes. We're making sure that all of our systems are as good and up to date as they can possibly be. We constantly challenge what we do as well. We move with the times. One of the things that has gone well for us is because of the network that I've built around me, and the telecoms and IT systems that we use. we've been able to move with the market very well. You know, Home Office do our IT and have done a fantastic job of it. MF Communications do our telecoms, and both companies have instilled systems that have enabled us to be able to just continue to work from home as much as we possibly can.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's really good. Thank you so much. That's really good. It's really great to hear your story again, and I'm really pleased the TM Recruits is going so well. I know it's troublesome time at the moment, but I'm sure this is going to be over soon, and then perhaps we can get together and have a beer and have a good catch up as well. It's good to see you.
That sounds like a plan. Thanks very much, Nick.
All right. Thanks, Neil.
Cheers.
See you soon. Bye, mate.
Thank you.